Well, it's happening. We have a new ISC kind of thing. It looks like it's basically pulling an ISC ship sale show out of ISC and doing it on a random Tuesday. They say they're going to do this once a month. Talk about ships. I don't think there's going to be a ship sale once a month. This is about the MISC Fortune. It looks exactly like we would expect it. It looks exactly like a prospector. So let's hear about it. I've been super excited for this ship. It's only 4 minutes and 20 seconds long, which is interesting as well. So it just looks like a ship commercial. I have no idea what's going on here, but let's check it out. It's only a minute old. One laser.
The MISC Fortune is a solo player salvage vessel. It's similar to the Vulture in size and utility.
It is technically a variant of the previous ship, the Prospector, but obviously there's many differences you can benefit from. What we've done is we've sort of tried to push the automatic cargo dispensing mechanism that's on the Vulture a little bit further, and sort of we've combined some of MISC's exterior cargo hold type of mechanic with the salvaging mechanism.
All right, so literally worse than the Vulture because you can't hold as much, it looks like. Interesting.
What we're doing with the salvage on the Fortune is we're having the cargo that gets created as you salvage be stored on the exterior as well.
When you go back to the salvage station, there's a panel and you can hit auto eject, or you can just eject it manually. And every time you eject, it...
Total internal storage, 13 SCU. So it's exactly like the Vulture, but the Vulture has an internal grid that allows you to hold more if you want to, where this one does not. So it's actually, they're selling a ship that's worse than a different ship. This is so unlike them. Very interesting. True, no tractor beam needed, but you still got to get out of your seat to use this. This is not a panel that's on your MFD in front of you. So you still have to get out of the seat. 2 hoppers, though. Okay, doesn't matter.
It will eject it out onto the exterior of the ship, and it will automatically...
I also like that they did not create an animation or anything. It just literally pops in.
Snap it to their cargo grid.
It is pretty cool that you can eject the crates simultaneously on each side of the ship if you want to. Seeing them 2 salvage stations working together in tandem is kind of a new thing for us, so pretty neat.
Sounds like you got to click both buttons, though.
Ship really makes use of all the available space inside of it.
We did complete component pass, so it has everything exposed, and it has a similar interior as the Prospector, so it's got the same hab and the bathroom and all of that.
Okay. Did they take the time to update the Prospector while they were doing this, I wonder? I would hope.
But we've extended it out so that you can walk from the front all the way to the back.
And then we've got an elevator in the rear for you to be able to bring those boxes in and out if you want to, or additional items. So just imagine you're going out.
So now it sounds like it's as good as the Vulture or better because of that internal area. Interesting.
Space to salvage some wrecks. You strip the metal off the surface of the vehicle. It'll create boxes on the side of the ship. And then in addition to that, you want to pull off some of the weapons. If they're small enough, you can actually put them in the elevator in the rear as storage. So it's not a dedicated cargo area on the inside, but it should be big enough for you to grab some of the smaller components if you're able to salvage those.
Love it. That is... Now, unfortunately, it needs to be a dedicated cargo thing. It needs to have a snapping area, and they didn't want to do that because they didn't want to make it better than the Vulture, which is sort of unfortunate. Reason being is, you know, those guns and stuff are going to clip through everything, right? Yeah, it just needs to be a grid, I think, and then give a different advantage to the Vulture in some way.
It's got this bubble.
You want to see a group with... You want to see group salvaging with both ships, not just one over the other. But yeah, that is the MISC unfortunate.
Cockpit
Yeah,
that allows you to see just outside anywhere in any direction.
I would love to see
very
both
similar to the
being
Prospector,
used.
so if you like the Prospector cockpit, you're going to love the Fortune cockpit.
We're also going to be going out with the new dashboard that's been created by the UI team for MISC.
Okay.
That'll be on
Which
the
is
Fortune
good.
and the Prospector going forward.
Yeah, we know. It's been there.
Like anything else between ships and Star Citizen, it's a trade-off.
Okay. What's the trade-off?
While both the Fortune and Vulture are single-seat salvage ships, the Fortune is going to focus a little bit more on convenience for the user because it has one salvage head versus the Vulture's two. It's not going to salvage quite as efficiently, so you might be able to salvage and do hull scraping a little bit faster still using the Vulture.
Bro, I feel like speed isn't enough. As someone who does this a lot, I feel like speed's not necessarily the best way to differentiate the two ships. I had talked about what I would have loved to see when I was like, when we didn't know anything about the ship, and my hope was that one was going to be really good at the fracturing aspect of the game, and one was going to be really good at the hull scraping, and then you bring both on the field when you're doing it, and it would be really cool. But
the advantage is that it might be just a little bit easier to operate. You won't have to be rearranging things as much as you would with the Vulture. And having two systems in play makes it maybe a little bit easier for the user to keep salvaging.
They still have the advantage to do that, or the ability to do that. Sorry, I saw the word advantage in Twitch chat. They still have the ability to do that when they do make the salvage change, so... Hey, Hasi, did you work on the ship? Or was that literally you on the screen?
I think that the team did a really good job. Shout out to Chris Smith, Jen, Joey, also Chad's team, and Pierre-Luc and Mitch. They did a great job on the new tech.
Is it one size one? It's hard to tell based on any of the UI. It's using a cinch. It also has the tractor beam available. If it's got one size one, yeah, okay. You're sacrificing speed, which is definitely a thing. But when you have such limited cargo, how much speed is really a factor over a long period of time? Interesting. All right, I'm really excited for the ship, though. I'm really excited to give it a try and see the difference between the two. So that was basically just a ship commercial with some devs. Let's go to Urkel. Apparently it's already up on Urkel, which is kind of crazy. Is it in the most recent PTU, I'm assuming? Vulture 2.0. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say that. Can you post me a link? Only if it's related to this ship. I'm gonna check out the... I don't see the Fortune on there. So it's on SP Viewer. It's not on Urkel. Okay. SP Viewer has been updated. Okay. So this is the comparison. Apparently. I only see... Hold up. MISC Fortune as number 2. Okay, here we go. For whatever reason, dude, your link didn't work, but I think we're all good. Urkel's got it. I think this is fine. I think this will work. What we have here. Just let me bring it up on the screen. So blue is the MISC Fortune. and red is the Drake Vulture. So their speeds are exactly the same. The nav speed of the Drake Vulture is a little bit higher. The health pool of the Fortune is higher. Shield health is exactly the same. Radar is higher on the Fortune than the Vulture, which is definitely a big factor. I mean, 4,000 meters, not the hugest difference, but and then there you go, a much more quantum fuel. So there's some good comparisons to make on, and then claim time is much different. It looks like, which I think will change, but I think that's a really good chart to have here to see, hey, would I want to use this or would I not want to use this? I still think I'm Drake Vulture all the way, but I sort of like the idea of this, and I really do hope they start to differentiate ships in a different way at some point, other than things like the speed of it or the whatever. I really hope there's some cool bonuses with ships between, like, I think this would be a great situation if they went, Drake Vulture was really, really good at RMC and can get bonus RMC, while the Fortune is really, really good at the construction material side of it, whatever that ends up morphing into, and can get bonus stuff from that. That's all stuff that can come later to differentiate the ships from each other. And maybe there'll be an FAQ where they talk about that, as that's their intention one day. I think that would be very, very neat. But for the time being, it does look like the biggest differentiators are nav speed and radar emissions and health. So both ships are very tanky. Effective HP of like 60k for 65k, 66 for the Fortune, and then effective HP of, I don't know, maybe 48k for the Vulture. So that is a pretty big differentiation. It also says cargo grid on the MISC Fortune 16. So this might not be exactly correct unless they are calling the back a proper cargo grid, which could theoretically be a thing. And then your CS signature is a big difference as well. The Fortune is different, right? So I didn't notice the cargo grid, and the mass might play a role one day, but there you go. Fuel flow. Bigger, and then, yeah, again, bigger fuel tank matters as well. So very, 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 very curious about how this is all going to play out over time. But I am interested in the ship. I'm interested in the ship because I'm interested in the gameplay. I'm not necessarily interested in buying the ship for real money or anything like that. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a game changer. But, yeah. Top right is much less maneuverable. Yes. It does appear less maneuverable. All this stuff can get tuned, though, right? So it's hard to, like, I don't know what we do there. Hull damage and emission modifier. Negative value is a buff. Positive value is a debuff. Okay. Yeah, looks like they're debuffing the Fortune and making it kind of a big radar thing. We'll see. Interesting how this all goes. Let me know what you guys think, though. Hopefully the price is somewhat similar. I don't think the Vulture was like insanely overpriced or anything, but we are pushing out a 4.0.1 that has nearly no fixes to the major issues that we had during the 4.0 phase to sell this thing. I know I'm excited for it simply because I like salvaging. Vulture's 175. Okay, that's a lot of money, actually. I take that back. I thought it was like less than 100, but okay. That's a lot of money. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So this will probably be somewhere in there, maybe even a little bit more. But yeah, we're taking down 324 and we're pushing everything live. Ugh, I don't know, man. Kind of weird, but is this exciting you guys? Because again, I am biased here. I know I'm biased. I love the salvaging mechanic. So I'm going to be biased and I'm going to be interested in this no matter what. But super curious what you guys think. Here we go. 4.0.1 going live today, I guess.